So at this time, I would like to look at the eligible voters here seated in the hall. And if anybody would like to come forward and file an objection with the Voting Bureau, then I ask you to walk over to the mic over here and also, of course, to substantiate the reasons that you feel that a recount would be warranted. And of course, to specify the polling station as well.
First of all, I would like to start by saying congratulations to St. Martin. Congratulations to each and every party that obtained a seat. Congratulations to anyone that ran, because at the end of the day, I've always said that I believe once you postulate yourself, you're trying to be a part of the solution and not just complaining about the problem. I was in between mixed feelings until having a meeting with the board of the United People's Party, and whereby some discrepancies was brought to my attention, such as one, for instance, in the Dutch Quarter, whereby one of the counters was removing a ballot, and they tore the ballot of what seemed to be a valid vote for the United People's Party. And upon tearing the ballot, they then deemed it invalid. There were also some discrepancies at other districts, such as Mary-Laurence, whereby our counters would send us a specific number, and then up on the news or the official broadcasting, it would be a different number than that was sent to the counter. Also, there were discrepancies whereby the persons in charge would say, one would say it's valid, one would say it's invalid, and then the decision would be left up to one person that would make the decision. Also, I would like to bring to the attention of the council that in January, you also accepted check marks or X's as long as the intent was clear and it did not go over to anyone's name. Some of these, based on the observers, were marked as invalid. So I think it's very important that we look into that, if that is the same way we are going. Based on that, I hereby request a formal recount of all ballots, but ballots specifically in Dutch Quarter Community Center, Academy, Mary-Laurence School, KB, and Butte Hotel. Also, I would like a detailed validation and audit on voter registration lists against the physical presence and participation of voters at each polling stations to ensure that all records correspond with actual voters. This is because, as well, when we saw the hour-by-hour update, we would realize that we are only 200 or 300 away from the January election. I did not see that at my polling station, and so did many of the other candidates. We just couldn't, we did not see the volume of people compared to the reports that came in for the amount of voters that are actually voting. And last but not least, a public report of the filing from the recount and validation process to be made available to all political parties, stakeholders, and general public. This report should be outlined and any discrepancies identified and the results after revisiting originally invalid votes to determine truthful and invalidity. So which means we are determining the validation of the votes, and indeed, like we discussed, what is valid, what is invalid, and to make clear. So based on the United People's Party, those are the issues that I had, and those are the specific districts that I would ask to be recounted. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to start with some incidents that we recorded as well. So based on the parliamentary election from August 19, 2024, incident of voter who voted in the January 2024 election but was removed from the list. Luckily, after contacting Ms. Kathy Snyders, she intervened and had the court give a ruling to add him back to the voters registry for the gentleman who was rather persistent to vote. People who were sent back after 6 p.m. who did not have voting cards, whereas it was stated that from 6 p.m. a duplicate would be made at the polling stations. At polling station number 12, Lane O'Connor School, we received a complaint from an elderly lady with Parkinson's disease that Ms. Sharon Kanagita was refusing to allow her to come with assistance to help her with the ballot. It was reported that Sharon Kanagita was very rude to her and the assistant. In polling station 12. Well, yeah? Okay. The gathering at the polling stations by various parties was more of a nuisance to the voters. We refer to the interview on Facebook at St. Martin Academy with Renee Wilson, aka Koto. There should be regulations in place to prohibit such actions of sharing out paraphernalia and hustling the voters at the polling stations. A general remark pertaining to the ballots. One of our candidates' name was smaller on the ballot, and many persons complained that they could not find her on the ballot. This pertains to Minister Veronica Johnson-Webster. And then the vote count at the polling stations. Polling station number 7 only allowed 6 parties from the 9 inside to observe the count, although there was spacing for more. Polling station number 8, St. Martin Academy. At Academy, the representatives had to wait until about 11:10 p.m. to be let inside, which seemed excessive since the last voters were out by around 8:15 p.m. Due in large part to this, the count took so long that civil registry came to see what the issue was and to get it finished. At this polling station, there was a discrepancy with the votes, which warrants a recount. Also, the individual counts for the candidates were not given, despite being assured that they would have been provided. Invalid blank votes were not shown at St. Martin Academy.
In discussion with the team, as we did have observers at all polling stations, the concern was that there was not the equality that you expect to see at such of an event. The observers at MPC specifically recalled that they were not allowed to look at the ballots, that there was a confusion as to which stack belonged to the SAM party and which stack to the NA party. And at one point, they had mentioned that the leader of the URSM had a stack of 50 votes, and one of the observers requested a recount, stating that it was 40. And initially, it was rejected to be recounted. However, after several other persons intervened, the recount was done and confirmed that it was indeed 40. So we can understand that human error can take place. So that is one of the reasons we're happy that this process exists, so that these counts can be verified, as it is a long day for most people and we are humans after all. There was also talk about some names being small based on the number of parties on the ballot, and the observers noted that they were not allowed to verify the ballots. That was the main concern at polling station Leonard Connor School, I think 11, whatever the number is, where I was, and one of my other candidates. There was also the observation. Usually we're allowed to observe from the very beginning. There was a period of time where the door was closed and we were not allowed to go in until we were called. And I believe that took more than 30 minutes. I'm not sure what the procedure is. Maybe as chair, you can give better clarity as to what is the proper procedure once the last voter has voted or deemed to have voted. Several persons who turned up at, I believe, Melford Hazel around 8 p.m. were turned back. There seems to have been an issue at the airport where people were not able to leave. There were flights delayed. And though we did ask and appeal that employers give employees opportunity to vote, several voting in that area were not able to get to their polling stations due to traffic. And so this is a big concern. It wasn't one or two people that noted this to me. But definitely, even though we were able to see visually the invalid votes that were deemed invalid by the polling station in K-Bay, Leonard Connor School, I am a bit concerned as to the time where the observers were closed off. And so therefore the transparency, and that was noted specifically in that polling station. So I question then the training of the leaders within these, was that training given? Was everyone given the same training? And to maybe before you go into your decision making, that you give a clear description of what is the proper procedure that should have been followed by all polling stations. Because I know I didn't pay attention initially. We have some experience in that, but I did experience it completely different this time. And so I look forward to specifically Milton Peters being recounted. I see others have asked for others, and I would want to hope that as the main voting bureau ensuring transparency and equality for our parties, that you would take the necessary decision on whether it needs to be a total recount or not. For the National Alliance, it is specifically in that voting district. Thank you.
Because you mentioned the line of Connor that you said you were present yourself, correct? Mm-hmm. You said there was a 30-minute window in which
I don't remember the
something
time,
like that roughly,
but it was quite a long time.
But the ballot box was unlocked in front of you, correct?
I'm not sure. Okay. I wasn't in the room at that time. Okay. So one of my other colleagues was in the room at that time. I'm not sure if it was done, but also procedurally in terms of locking the ballot box. Mm-hmm. Some people have questioned, is that done also in front of some type of an observer to ensure that there were no ballots in there prior to the voting starting? So maybe you can explain that as well.
Then if there are no further objections from anyone here in the room, then I will adjourn this meeting for 10 minutes? For 10 minutes.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social and health insurances.
Let me start off first by thanking everybody for the objections that you raised, and also, of course, for the points of improvement that you've raised. And we continue to try to improve and modernize and professionalize our elections, and try to limit as much as possible these types of discrepancies and incidents occurring. But of course, it's also part of the process, and it's, as a Central Voting Bureau, we also can't control every element and aspect of this, and you do hope, of course, that you give sufficient training, and that, but you also trust the different polling stations at the end of the day. And of course, what's also difficult, and it's something that occurred on election day as well, we get calls constantly from people present saying, oh, this is happening, and then you reach out to a polling station, and then they're like, but that didn't happen. So you get a lot of he said, she said, and things kind of, I think, get lost in translation or misinterpreted along the way as well. So, and as an example of that, I think too also earlier at least something was mentioned with respect to the polling station Charles Leopold Bell. I believe we called it 12, but I think it's 11 off the top of my head. And I think a specific incident was mentioned involving Miss Kanagiter, and given the fact that her name was called, I think, on live TV, and she would like an opportunity to, I guess, kind of explain actually what took place and what transpired. And I think it also serves as a perfect example of how sometimes we have an impression that something went on within a certain polling station, and that may not always be the case. And I think that will also then hinge on, I'll explain a little bit more of the process and how we check and how we come to our decisions in terms of what we decide to recount, yes or no. And, but I think I'll let Ms. Kanagiter have her moment to explain exactly what transpired. And then I'll move on to what our decisions have been.
In listening to the opening of the deliberations this morning, I heard my name called and I was associated with District 12, which in actuality, I am the chairperson, or was the chairperson of District 11. I have said on numerous occasions that electoral reform is something that really is necessary. If we have electoral reform, the statements that was made this morning would not have been made by calling my name. And first of all, I take offense to anybody calling my name when they don't have the facts as to what exactly transpired. I would think any responsible person, before you stand here and publicly scandal anybody's name, you would have gotten exactly what transpired at the polling station. That didn't happen. So I find it necessary to clear my name. So it's not about politics, it's about Sharon Kanagiter. And in this case, the incident that involved a cabinet member of the URSM and a voting member of the population, the lady came in with the cabinet member because there was only 2 incidents at the polling station. So I can clearly remember what the incidents were. And the lady came in along with the cabinet member, and she did not ask as we were instructed. And I could go back a little further. When we are trained to work at the polling stations, we are given directives. We are told what we can, what we cannot do, and as chairperson of the polling station, the final decision lies with us. And I analyze and try to give everybody a fair chance at being able to vote. This lady came in, she did not ask for assistance, but she walked in with the cabinet member. She then stood in front of us and we gave pleasantries because she is a family member of mine. Everybody knows District 11 is Coal Bay, and I am from K-Bay and Coal Bay. So I know everybody in those districts. The lady came in, she didn't ask for assistance, and I looked at the cabinet member and she said, I'm here to help her. I said, well, she didn't ask for assistance. I said, do you need her to go in with you? She said, well, she offered her help. I said, do you need assistance? No. I said, okay, here is your ballot. We went through the entire routine. The lady took the ballot, she took her bag, gave it to the cabinet member. She went in, she cast her ballot. She came out, dropped her ballot in the bin. And when she was leaving, I called her by name and I said, are you okay? She said, I'm good, just a couple of pains in my knees. And one of the polling station members, we all, we giggled about it because we said, well, what does your knee have to do with your hand and your eyes? That does not require assistance. But this particular incident, since it's being made public, I would say to all politicians, when they are running an election, educate the population. Because people come in there not knowing what to do with the ballot. They know your name, but they don't know how to vote on the ballot. They are asking us, the polling station members, if we can assist them with the voting process. So yes, we have public meetings. We have a whole lot of things going on with elections. But the most important part of election is omitted because I think it tells when persons come to the polling station. And that is where it's not clear. So our job is not an easy job. And for me to sit here and knowing that I have spent from 5:15 on Monday morning until 2:30, Tuesday morning, to hear my name being called in an incident that was not verified, I think is really out of place.
First of all, I would like to say a thank you to all those volunteers that have sacrificed their time and efforts, making sure this process goes as smooth as possible. Looking back at my speech, I would like to personally also apologize for mentioning your name in public, as this is not a personal situation. It was more an incident that occurred within the voting process and that had to been expressed. Yeah, but I do want to say thank you for being here and also for explaining and clarifying, because at the end of the day, then this becomes a learning moment, I think, for everyone here and also for the voting population, so that the incidents that happened on election day would not occur again in the future. And also for clarification, if we could get the polling stations again, that will be recounted. Thank you.
To get back to your question, so again, we will be recounting polling station number 3, the St. Martin Senior Recreational Center, polling station number 7, Rupert Maynard Community Center, polling station 8, St. Martin Academy, polling station 10, NEPA, polling station 14, Belvedere Community Center, polling station 15, Melford Hazel, polling station 16, the MAC. And then, of course, all invalid votes across all 20. And I think for us not to be opening too many bins at the same time, we'll just start with the recount of, the 7 I just mentioned, and then whichever polling stations we still haven't done, then we'll do all those invalids after we've recounted those 7. All right, then we will get started.
Today is the start of a new chapter in the joint history of Curaçao and Sint Maarten. A nation's currency is its calling card, proudly advertising its treasures. You're about to explore a new series of modern banknotes and coins, our new Caribbean Guilder. Cash touches and connects us all. It makes person-to-person connections like no other form of payment. A secure currency continues to be a pillar of a modern economy. And we need to keep up with technology. Keeping what is simple, trusted, and cherished, both effective and secure, well into the future. New high-tech banknotes and coins, ensuring the efficiency of our modern life. Beautifully designed to make us proud. Honoring our new currency and the monetary union between Curaçao and Sint Maarten. We give you the new Caribbean Guilder. The design draws inspiration from the world under the sea. The new banknotes and coins are secure, easy to use, and beautiful. A reflection of the treasures of the Caribbean, its vitality, diversity, and economy. The front of all banknotes shows the vibrant and unique marine life. Fish, turtles, and seahorses swim freely, seeing no borders, a metaphor for the monetary union between Curaçao and Sint Maarten. The reverse of the banknotes shows historical and cultural landmarks in Curaçao and Sint Maarten. The Klein Curaçao Lighthouse, the Simpson Bay Lagoon, Kenepa Grande Beach, the courthouse seen from the water, and the Queen Emma Bridge. The new coins share the maritime theme. The turtle, the seashells, and the waves of the ocean. The Caribbean Guilder is coming. Produced by the world's leading suppliers of modern banknotes and coins in Canada, Sweden, and Malta. The new Caribbean Guilder will be in circulation from March 31st, 2025. But you can start exploring them today. Just download the mobile app My Caribbean Guilder via App Store or Google Play and dive into our new treasures of the Caribbean.
SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, yeah. Your social health insurances.
When the House of Assembly returns on Friday, the 20th of September, 2024, MP Campbell will cross the aisle from the government benches and sit with us in the opposition. This is historical and radically changes the political momentum and landscape of Bermuda and in Bermuda to the benefit of all Bermudians. MP Campbell was in the Progressive Labour Party for over 13 years, serving in roles as varied as delegate and treasurer. And when the PLP won the government, MP Campbell eventually served as a cabinet minister. This decision could not have been easy. And I have no doubt that this news will lead to attempts to demean, demoralize, and devalue MP Campbell. Vance, I want you to know, we who have faced these political bullies will not let you stand alone. We find strength in serving our communities, hope in our vision of a safe, secure, and prosperous Bermuda, inspiration in the countless Bermudians who daily encourage us to push forward for the benefit of the generations to come. MP Campbell can better explain why he's taken this course of action, and I will leave it to him to do so. I will speak to what this means for the One Bermuda Alliance and Bermuda at large. In the years since the 2020 general election, the OBA has deeply examined our purpose, values, and activities. We have rebuilt, forged a new organization from the ashes of the old, clear in purpose, values, and mission. We have attracted people of integrity, vision, and resilience. We are ready to bring about Bermuda's renaissance, increasing our strength of character and putting service before self. And for that, I am deeply thankful. Vance, welcome to the One Bermuda Alliance.
For more than a decade, I have proudly served the people of Smiths West, first as a candidate in the 2012 election, and then again as a candidate in the 2017 election. And eventually, after the 2020 election, serving you for some 4 years now as your member of parliament. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve you, to work for your interests, to listen to your concerns, and to help solve some of your problems. When I was first introduced as a candidate in 2011, I did so as a concerned father. A concerned father wanting to better Bermuda, or to see a better Bermuda, not only for my kids, but for the next generation of all Bermudians. It's simple. Our children are Bermuda's future. Our children must make their way in the world that we leave behind. So I entered politics because I wanted that future to be better for all our children. And I wanted to be part of a team to deliver that better future. In 2011, I believed that team to be the Bermuda Progressive Labour Party. Now, 2011 seems a very long time ago. And when you include my time as a Central Committee representative and a delegate, I have been actively serving for approximately 14 years. That experience has presented me with much to evaluate. Sadly, today in 2024, in assessing the years between 2011 and now, the conclusion that I kept coming to was that the political party that I joined many years ago, the Bermuda Progressive Labour Party, no longer presents the best option for securing a better future for Bermuda. I can no longer visit my constituents' homes and say to you, in all honesty, that I still have faith in the PRP.